The authorship in research publications is very important in research community. It provides information of the persons who have done the research work, and this facilitates the communications between the scholars. The authorships also establish both accountability and give due credit. A person is expected to be listed as an author only when associated as a significant contributor in the research design, data interpretations, or writing of the papers. In another word, the authorship is a mode of declarations that a researcher have involved with the research project, and it can be treated as a means to quantify the contributions of a person to the field of study. A researcher is thought to be having better influences or with higher reputations if he have published more papers. And often, this is the primary basis of evaluations for the employment, promotions, and other honors of a person. Therefore, the researchers who are working in the academic fields normally look high on the authorship of a research paper. And some people may try to manipulate the system in order to promote themselves in the research field. This leads to the ethical issues related to the authorships. One of the common ethical issues with the authorship is by including the co-authors with little or no contributions to the work. They treat this as a gift to someone that they are favor of, hoping for something else in return. Such practice will dilute the contributions of those who actually did the work, and also inappropriately inflates the credentials of the listed authors. These are a few types of ethical issues related to the authorships. First is the career boss authorships. This happens when a primary author included a junior faculties of students in the author list in order to boost their chance of employment or promotions. This is an act helping the juniors for them to gain the influence within an organization, so that they can get more resources in the organizations. The second one is the career-preservative authorship. This is related to adding the superiors or administrator, such as the head of departments or dean, in order to preserve good relations with the person in exchange with the convenience within the organizations. Often, the head of departments or the deans are also academia. They are also actively involved in the research. However, they have additional responsibility which they need to lead the department on the administration's works. That means they have the powers to allocate the resources within the organizations, including the manpowers. In order for the head of departments and deans to look good, they also like their names to appear in many research work, and this leads to the career preservation authorships. The researchers put their name even though they do not participate in the research work as a manner to please him in exchange with more resources and better opportunity within the organizations under the leaderships of these superiors. The next one is the ghost co-authorship. This is normally associated with the major contributors to the research work does not appear in the author list, due to non-disclosure conflict of interest within the organizations. In another word, the persons who have contributed significantly to the work is not being given credit. At the same time, due to the conflict of interest, the person should not be in the research in the first place. Next is the questionable authorship. This is referring to the researcher who lists one another as co-authors as a reciprocal gesture with no real collaborations. This sometimes happens when a few researchers trying to team up, helping each other to promote their academic influence, while each of them are doing separate research work, and in the process of publishing their research work, they incorporate the names of their friends or colleagues as the co-author so that it looks good for everyone. Let's say now the person A published 2 papers in 1 year and person B published 2 papers also in the same year. Then they decided to team up. For the 2 papers that published by the person A, he adds in the co-authorship for the person B. In return, the person B also incorporates person A in his research publications as the co-authors. Now in their profile, both of them are publishing 4 papers in a year. This is a typical questionable authorships. Next is the sole-authorships. This happens when some others, in trying to acquire a sole author work, which he is supposed to include his colleagues as a co-author, but he chose not to. Instead, he recognized the effort by giving an acknowledgement to his colleagues. That means he's actually downgrading the levels of contributions of his co-authors to the acknowledgement levels.